Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be looking at the CRKT Carnufex. Stick with it. Now let's look at this, guys. So Carnufex, the actual name of this knife, means butcher in Latin. Just a cool little thing I found while I was reading up on this guy. Blade length is 4 inches. Blade thickness on this guy is coming in at 0.15 inches. And the blade material is 8CR13 MOV steel, which we will talk about a little later. But first up, we're going to do a size comparison here. So let's start off with comparing it to the Kershaw Barge. Alright, this Kershaw Barge got recently discontinued. That's why I snagged one, even though it's tipped down, and I'm not a fan of that. Alright, the CRKT P Large, or the P Lar XL, which is a flipper, or whatever, however you want to open that guy. Steel Will Mini Cut Jack, 3-inch version, of course. So as you can see, this is a whole inch larger in the blade length. The Cold Steel Pro Light Tanto. And the Open L number 8. Alrighty, so as you can see, this is a big knife. I actually made an appearance in my winter EDC video because EDCing in winter means I'm going to be wearing a lot of jeans, and jeans are better for bigger knives like this. So 8CR13 MOV steel. Thoughts on that? I always give my thoughts on 8CR13 MOV steel when you look at any of my, in fact, my recent review on the Fossil. I give my thoughts on 8CR13 MOV steel. It's a great budget steel, meaning that you can make knives at a cheaper price point that use it, but there are more expensive knives that use this steel. Talk about the Spyderco Tenacious, that line, the Tenacious, the Ambitious, and the Resilience, I think, are the 3 that are in that line. I don't remember off the top of my head, but those 3 knives use 8CR13 MOV steel, and they're coming in around the $50 mark and higher. Well, $45 to $50 mark and higher. And I honestly, personally, I'd rather one of these. And I own a Tenacious. Just because a Tenacious is a great knife, but for different reasons. Of course, now we got a hollow, it has a spear point blade shape. Very stabby blade, which I personally think is cool. Has a hollow grind, as you can see the hollow grind on this guy. Has a satin finish to the blade, and I just think that fits perfectly with this aesthetic. The satin blade, the satin stainless steel, and then these GFRN handles. Actually, next on my list was talk about these GFRN handle skills, textured like an alligator or a reptile. And the stainless steel, of course, everything else. The weight on this guy comes in at about 5.8 ounces, which is a heavy sucker. But I like heavy knives. I do like heavy knives. In fact, one of my favorite knives in my collection is my Kershaw Link aluminum. So that thing is a heavy boy. Let's look at some pictures of this guy before I get too in and forget to mention them. So look at some pictures now. Alrighty, so you saw this knife is actually, I think, is really cool. I just think this knife looks really good. Where was I at? Tip up right-handed carry, and it has this nice deep carry pocket clip. The screws are not recessed, but we'll get to that a little later on here. Flipper is IKBS ball bearings. In fact, the designer of this knife, Flavio Icoma, is part of, he is a designer of the IKBS system. It is a frame lock knife, as you can see here, stainless steel frame lock, and the lockup is actually nice. It's about 40 to 50%, which is where I like to see it personally. Knife is made in China, but I mean, for the price, it's kind of what you're looking at. I mean, $35 to $50, or you're looking at made in China, made in Taiwan, very few made in Vietnams. There are no flavors on this guy, so what you see is what you get with this guy. This is it. Which I kind of like having options, but I mean, for this knife, the design on it is so good for me that I think it's perfect. Talks about the deep carry pocket clip. Let's talk about these non-recessed screws here. They haven't caught a whole lot of my jeans, but I can see how it would be a problem for people having non-recessed screws, meaning that it would be a little bit of an issue because it would rub on your jeans. I can see that, and I can see that being a problem. Now onto something I really like is, oh my gosh, I just love this texturing on this GFRN. It's so comfy in the hand. This knife in general is just so good in the hand. I mean, I'm pushing pretty hard on this guy, and it's just no hot spots whatsoever. The only hot spot I could see maybe is a little bit of the clip, but my pinky just, like the way I hold this guy, my pinky, actually the clip gets tucked right in between those two knuckles right there. So yeah, like right there between the knuckles there, and it just hides away perfectly. There is a lanyard hole here at the bottom. I don't use lanyards, as you can tell, because of all my other videos, but I mean, it's a nice knife. And one thing I forgot to write on here is this backspacer. Look at this backspacer. It's actually designed like an alligator's back. How there would be the spine, like the spine would be right underneath this center division, and then you have the two ridges running all the way down the backspacer. And I think that that is gorgeous. Icoma really outdid himself here. This is just a gorgeous knife. Action on this guy is amazing. I think this has better action than the Fossil, and you guys know how much I love the Fossil, but this is just, you get perfect purchase on this flipper tab. Oh, just gorgeous. And I think you could even, I mean, I don't want to try it, but I think that some people could front flip this, but I'm bad at front flippers, so we're not going to mess with that. Good jimping right here on the back of the blade, and like if you want to choke up a little bit, you can choke up there. There's no finger choil or anything like that, but just great purchase on this guy. Sharp right out of the box. Decently thick blade stock, but it's because it has a hollow grind, it's nice and thin behind the edge, making this guy a half decent slicer. And I mean, other than that, this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous knife. Almost drop shutty, as you can see. Let me pop it back up. Okay, as you can see, and it's just kind of, yeah, it's drop shutty. It's almost drop shutty. Yeah, just got to give it a little bit. And for $50, you can't go wrong with this guy. I mean, $50 and it's almost completely drop shutty. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And this hole is actually, you could use for spidey flicking. It's not the most comfortable thing in the world if you're going to try to do that. It's very sharp angles there. The back on this guy has sharp angles too, so we're talking like, they did curve it out here as you're getting a little closer, I think, to the point. But that doesn't help you when you're up here at all, because if I would accidentally grab it like this, it just is uncomfortable and painful, because it's right on a 90-degree angle. But right here, of course, the sweet spot, it's perfect to me, and I love the alligator design. Oh, it's so good. We're gonna see how long this design ages with me. But right now, I think it's gorgeous. I think it's just a beautiful knife at a cheap price. And I highly recommend, if you can carry a 4-inch knife, giving this guy a try. I'm a big fan of big knives. 3.25 to about 3.5 and up is where I'm comfortable most. And this guy, like as far as And they actually thought about your pinky here, like, because you can get, like, you can shove all your fingers in here and it's just not comfortable, but you can have that extra room in the back to grab. And actually, now that I'm grabbing it, this little point here where it comes to a little bit of a climax here, this can actually kind of be a little painful on the pinky, but if you just grab it the right way, you'll be fine. Or, so if you have bigger hands, maybe this isn't for you, or if you have smaller hands, maybe this isn't for you. But for me, it is perfect. So at this point, I'm just kind of rambling. Ugh. Yeah, it's not made to Spidey Flick, but you could if you wanted. And of course, you can always open up a knife like this. You can always open up a knife like this, but the D10 on this guy is just made for this flipping. Just gorgeous flipping action. So, that's all for this one, and I will see you guys in the next video.